Hey guys, in this session let us learn about how Oracle database manages file and table space to store the data. So this is just a diagram which represents the Oracle file management. Okay, so generally any database which stores the data inside a file, right? So that's how any database work. So it has a RAM and it has a disk. So all the temporary data or the buffers will be stored in the memory, and all the data which is persistent, which means permanent storage, will be stored in the disk, right? And even in real time, so we have a laptop or anything, computer. So you have a computer, so you are watching this video on your computer, and so you have a screen which is the monitor, right? So this monitor is showing you some operating system and some set of apps in a colorful way, right? So all these applications are running on top of an operating system, and this computer is connected to a set of hardwares, right? Set of hardwares in the sense it has motherboard, it has CPU sockets, and it has CMOS battery, and it also has if it is a laptop, it has an inbuilt or separate lithium batteries. It also has RAM. So likewise, there are a lot of hardwares which are connected to this computer. So without these hardwares, you will not be able to process any tasks, or you cannot run any applications. Even the operating system will not execute, right? All these are integrated to perform some task. So without any hardware, we will not be able to see anything on the monitor. Monitor is also very important, right? Without monitor, we cannot visualize anything. Simply, if we just run some application without visualizing, then we will not be able to know what is happening inside, and it will be more tedious to understand for humans, right? So this monitor is also a hardware which helps the human to visualize and understand the application. Also, if we need to troubleshoot any issues, then it will be easier when we visualize all these stuffs, right? So this computer is a set of hardware and software. Without hardware, software can be useless, and without software, this hardware is useless. So these hardwares can be physically felt, right? So if I just open the computer or laptop, I can just take the RAM, I can touch the battery, right? I can touch the motherboard, I can replace the motherboard. So these are physical objects where we can touch and feel it. But whatever you see inside the screen, all those are logical, right? Those applications, you cannot touch the application, but you can just feel it when you click on that application. When you double click on the application, it runs. So when it runs, it is doing some task, but we cannot touch, or we cannot directly control it. So we have a mouse, and mouse is also a communicator. That's it. It is a pointer which communicate from external use, right? I'm just using the mouse to communicate with the system. So likewise, in an Oracle database, we have physical and logical storage, similar to how we use the computer. So physical storage means all the disks. So we have hard drives, right? So we install an operating system. So if we have Linux, we will be having multiple volumes. We have physical disks, and we can virtualize it with logical volumes. So all those physical disks will be present in the data center, right? We still will not be able to access the data center unless until we are authorized to go to the data center and work on the disks. We cannot see the disks still. Okay, but yeah, so when it comes to physical storage, on top of the disks, the operating system run, and even in our computers we have C drive, D drive, E drive, right? So inside those drives we'll be storing some files. Inside C drives we store all the program files in Windows, right? All the mission critical files and all the operating system files will be stored inside the C drive, and all the libraries and everything will be stored. And if we need to store some videos, images, we store on some external drives or D drives or E drives. So likewise, there are set of files called data files. Okay, so these data files will be stored on top of the disk. Okay, still we cannot physically touch these data files. Okay, we can just operate it like how we operate in the monitor. Okay, and in the OS layer we have OS blocks. Okay, so likewise in logical storage we have table space, segments, extents, data blocks. Okay, so always remember this best. So B for, so this comes from the ascending order, not descending order. Okay, the smallest storage unit in the logical storage is blocks, which is data blocks, or either we can call data blocks or blocks. And second largest storage unit is the extent, and third one is segment, and fourth one is table space. So you can remember like this. This is the logical mapping between each and every logical entities. Okay, and yeah, all these are mapped, okay, between each other. Then only we can do something useful. Without any mapping, these are just a set of files, that's it. We cannot store any data or process any data with the RDBMS software, right? So this is the database. Okay, so database is the overall or the bigger storage. So inside the database we have multiple table spaces. So here we have an arrow. Okay, so this arrow is pointing to database, but there is only one arrow. But here we have three arrows, which means this is one to many relationship. What is one to many relationship? One database can contain multiple table spaces. That's it, simple. Okay, and one table space can contain multiple segments, and one segment can contain multiple extents. One extent can contain multiple set of blocks. Okay, and one table space can contain multiple data files, and one data file can contain multiple OS blocks, and one block or data block can contain multiple OS blocks. So this is the mapping. And one database can contain multiple users. So user means sys, system, Scott, or any custom users that we create on the database, right? So if I just create an user on my name, that is also an user, right? So likewise, I can create a lot of users on the database, and one user can contain only one schema. Okay, so what is a schema? So here both are one-to-one, right? One schema can contain one user, or one user, under one user we have only one schema, which means first of all we need to understand what is schema. Schema is a set of objects, simple. Or schema stores set of objects. Schema contains set of objects. So you can see a mapping, one to many mapping. So all these objects are segments. Okay, so what is a segment? Segment is also a logical entity. Okay, and segment can be categorized into table segment, index segment, lob segment. So there are a lot of different types of segments. And table spaces are just a logical storage. Okay, and so those logical storage can be categorized, or they can be isolated. So we have different types of table space which has a different purpose. Okay, system table space stores all the information related to the bootstrap and all the internal tables of the Oracle database. And users table space is an application table space which stores all the application or the business data. Sysocs table space stores all the manageability and performance related data. And undo table space or undo TBS stores all the information related to the rollback or read consistent information. And temp stores all the information related to the temporary operations like temporary table or sorting, hashing and all these stuffs. Okay, so yeah, so extends, just we don't need to think a lot. Simple. Table space is the largest logical entity which stores all the segments. Okay, and segment is further divided into multiple objects like table objects, index, whatever, sequences, procedures and all these types. And every table, for every table which is stored on the database, there will be extent, right? So this extent contains a set of data blocks to store all the rows of the table. Okay, so unless until an extent is not needed, Oracle will not allocate an extent. Okay, first Oracle, what it does is, when we create a table, Oracle will allocate an extent, which means Oracle allocates a set of data blocks combined together. And once we insert some data, so in older versions, Oracle does not create any extent when we create a table. So once we insert the data, Oracle automatically create an extent and insert the data inside the blocks. And if the extent is not sufficient to hold the data, then again Oracle allocates another new extent. So likewise, it keep on allocating new extents. Okay, so here in data file, so these are just files, that's it. So we cannot directly control these data files from the database. Okay, so what we can control, we can directly control table spaces, segments, extents. Okay, in the sense we cannot directly remove any extent, but we can just check the extent related information from the database, and we can also check the block related information from the database. But we have direct control over segments and table spaces. Okay, we can either create table space or drop table space or do stuffs like that, add data files to the table space or extend the table space size like that. And we can also move the segments, we can drop the segments, we can create segments. These are the control for the DBA. But for extent, we cannot directly control. You cannot drop the extent. Okay, we cannot create an extent because Oracle automatically manage these extents. Okay, that we'll see later. Okay, we have different types of segment managements. Okay, and also data files are physical files, which means these files will be stored on the OS. Okay, we should not touch these files unless until if we are doing any maintenance activity, and that too not during the production hours. right? So if we move this file directly from the OS layer, so we have mv command from the OS, right? So if we just use mv or rm, these are very dangerous commands. If we just say rm-f a particular data file, then that's it. Database is either corrupted or we may get a downtime. So that's the reason we should not directly manage these files. Oracle knows how to manage these files. We only have to control these files from the database, not from the OS. Okay, and also the OS blocks. So these OS blocks are set of blocks, right, which are stored inside the data files. Right, so if we have file system, then file system will be having some set of blocks, right, with inodes. So all those files will be managed automatically. We don't need to manually manage these blocks. Okay, in practical sessions you will understand how to or what these layers are. I will just correlate all these pictures which is shown in this slide with the practical demonstration, so that you will understand it easy. Okay.